I hope you're all doing well. I kind of want to discuss this time the successful martial artist. Like, what does that mean? Because martial arts, we do know that it's some people translate it as the art of war, being that the term martial comes from Mars, which is the sign of war. That's true. I think so. But we really have to define what is war. Like, what is war in previous times, and how does that change to now? Because we're all at war right now. Right now, we're all at war. Now, martial arts initially offers you the techniques that you can use to deal with the physical parts of that war. So if somebody grabs you, you can, lock their wrist. If somebody tries to hit you can slip. These are all the physical attributes that you get from learning martial arts. That's great. But how many people are really getting in a fist fight every day now, in modern times now, right? So as things evolve, we have to learn how to use what we have and let it evolve with us, right? Or let it evolve us ourselves. What kind of problems are you dealing with now personally? Family problems, alcoholism, how are you treating your kids? Looking for a job? These are the real wars that we're faced with today, right now. And yet, it doesn't mean that we won't get into a physical fight. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't be training combat. We should be training combat continually, but only so that we can learn how to interpret that physical motion into how it pertains into my own life. So, like, if I see a movement where I deflect something, that's the same way I have a conversation with my boss. When he is throwing something at me, I can't just take that impact, because actually his words, if they affect me, they can make me sick. They can make you have stomach problems, migraines, because the stress is what's really going to kill you. Just like the stress of some type of impact, that's going to be what kills you. So you have to learn how to deal with that stress, so that when he says something, it doesn't make me want to go home and start smoking 100 cigarettes, right? You got to learn how to deflect that in the heat of battle. So if he says, like, hey, why didn't you get this done in time? Remember, always answer a question with a question, right? Answer a question with a question. That's how you do self-defense. So if somebody asks you a question, which is really an accusation, you answer them with another question, right? You understand? Like, oh, okay, well, how many people do we have on staff today? You just divert just a little bit, just to the sides, and if you know them, then you're going to know how to fight them well. But if the other thing is too, maybe it's your wife. Maybe your wife is saying, like, you never clean up the house, you never do this, you never do that, you never help me with this, and you have to learn how to divert that energy. And diverting is just one tactic, you know. Diverting is one tactic. Sometimes you just give her a big hug, let her melt in your arms, feel good for a little bit, and she'll forget that that is not, it's really not that significant. So those are all the different types of strategies we're going to use in our life. Now, you're going to figure these things out by, one, training every day if you can. The best you can. You have to, because it's all about mental endurance. Because if you lose your mental endurance, you're going to lose your temper or your focus. That's where everything goes out the window once you lose your mental endurance. So by holding your stance for 10 minutes and just sitting in that position, your mind, your legs are saying, I don't want to do this. This doesn't feel good. This is very uncomfortable. I want to change this. I hate this. And it's trying to get out, right? But by staying there, your mind is controlling your body. And that's what martial arts is about, is learning how to make your mind control your body, not let your body control your mind, not let your situation control what you do. So if I wake up and it's raining and it's cold and it's freezing, I'm not going to let that determine my attitude of the day. I'm going to wake up and be like, yeah, it's raining, but I'm strong and I can deal with it. And it's actually kind of beautiful. And that's how you have to train your mind, right? So that it controls your body, not the other way around. So that's kind of basically how you get into it. And that brings us to the points of, like, what is a successful martial artist? The world today, myself, like, I've seen, I watch some UFC a little bit. I watched more when I was a kid, when I was like 16, you know, and I've never really been impressed, man. And I think a lot of that, the skills are okay, kind of okay. Like, but I've never seen anybody who was just like, wow, he's great. Nothing at all. They're just they're competing with each other. Well, they're competing with themselves, using each other. And that's a very American football kind of a mentality. We've taken martial arts and we've made it into American football. I like American football. I grew up playing American football, but I'm not going to say that that is related to real combat at all. Football is not combat, and UFC is not combat. It's a way that you can make money, trying to, like if you can get into that particular position that they select you out. And a lot of those people, they don't even make that much money. They do make a lot of injuries though. They do get hurt, and then a lot of them, they're limping around for the rest of their lives after 35 years old. I mean, is that success? Is that success to be able to fight in your youth, and then as you get older, now you're not even able to play with your kids because your back hurts? I don't think that's success. I think success is peace. If you can hold your peace in any situation, if you can hold your joy on those different days, and when you have that, that is what I see and determined as success. Because if you have peace, then the stress is not hurting your body, which means you're going to live longer. That's why you have these guys out here, who train and they can live up to 100 years old, 120 years old, and still practicing martial arts because they did not let the stress eat away at them. Right now, I think the other thing is too is how do you use your martial arts? It's not about okay, if I'm going to say purpose, like a police officer, this is something that's really easy and direct to see. Yes, this is a direct pathway, how I can use my martial arts to control the situation physically. Great, right? But how do you use your martial arts to make money? Because I know lots of martial artists out here, none of them make money teaching martial arts or fighting, but they're rich. And you know how they got rich? They kept seeing the details in the situation, because doing martial arts is basically paying attention to the details. The details. How does your hand turn? No. This finger. No. Here. No, lock it, sharpen it. It makes you a more detailed individual. And so if you can see things in your art and in your own body more detailed from practice, then when you look at something, when you give your resume, you can look more at the details of what you're writing. Am I really explaining this well? Is this something that's going to pull him in? Is this something that I'm going to say that might be offensive in a conversation? Look at the details of your life and what you're doing, and that is the way that you're not just going to have more money, but you're also going to have more success in every aspect. When your kid talks back to you, how do I punish him? He says something wrong. I go through this every day, man. As a father, man, it's not easy because you can't keep doing the same thing. That means you're not thinking anymore, right? It's just like punching robots, like rock'em sock'em robots, right? You got to think carefully. Why did he do that? Why did he say that? Was he influenced by something on TV? Should I take TV away for a while, right? Or was he frustrated because I wasn't spending enough time with him? Do I just need to spend more time with him? Do I need to give him more responsibilities because he's bored and so he's overreacting because he has nothing to do? You got to examine the whole situation in the details, and that's going to bring that success forward for you. Now, whatever style you do, whatever style you've done, it's always been about respect and honor. I don't care what anybody says today. Don't listen to the world. They're lost. They're so lost that it's not even martial arts to me. It's just nonsense, It's really more about bragging, which is the opposite of what martial arts is. Don't listen to them. You need to really understand that your martial arts journey, that you're alone. Even if you follow my page and I give you some advice and I give you some, tips and movements, you're alone. This whole time I've been training for 37 years, I'm always by myself. Now, sometimes I go to the gym and I can work with some people, or I have a dojo and I meet with my master. That's great, But on the day-to-day basis, I have to decide whether or not I'm going to train. I'm busy. I got to find a new job. I got to pick up my kids from school. My wife is having different issues. So who's going to help me with that? It's just me, dude. And that's where the strength and the power comes in from it, because you realize that that's enough. You are enough. You are enough to overcome the situation. It's just between you and God. Nobody else knows what you're really dealing with. And that's why you have to be very respectful. Even if you see somebody who has bad technique, even if you think somebody cannot fight, because you don't know what he's dealing with. Maybe he's dealing with diabetes. Maybe his grandma just died. You don't know what he's dealing with. Respect every person, and don't say that shit like you need to earn my respect. That's nonsense. That's nonsense and selfishness, because it's not even about you. It's about, like, you respect a dog. You're going to walk up and just hit a dog with a brick because you say, oh, he has to earn my respect. Come on. We have to respect everybody just because they exist, because that's the respect of life. And that will only give you more power. And so these people in these forums that are criticizing other people's technique, you can tell they're lost. They're not even close to the goal. They're going the completely wrong direction. But if you want to glow, if you want to see magic in your life, like real magic, you show that respect, you receive your honor, you keep on training, and you hold your peace. And I guarantee you'll find yourself in a place that other people will not even be able to understand or see. I love you guys. God bless.